Alrighty, so let's go through a few of the topics that we've covered, calculating slope and then using point slope form. So the slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So in this problem, x1 is 9, x2 is 3, and y1 is 7, y2 is 12. So if I'm going to calculate the slope between these 2 points, I'm going to subtract the y coordinates, 12 minus 7, and then I'm going to subtract my x coordinates, 3 minus 6. And 3 minus 9. And that's going to give me 5 over negative 6, which a positive divided by a negative in general is just a negative. So my final answer is negative 5 over 6. Let's do one more. So the points that I'm given are 2, 1, and 6, 10. So my x1, my first x coordinate is 2. My x2, my second x coordinate is 6. And then my y1, my first y coordinate is 1. And my y2, my second y coordinate is 10. So to calculate the slope, I'm going to do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which is going to give me 9/4. And just a quick note with slope, you always want to make sure that your final answer is simplified. So for instance, if I were to get 12 over 6, that simplifies to 2. So I would want to give 2 as my final answer. Or if I were to get like negative 3 over negative 6, the negatives cancel out and 3/6 is really 1/2. So you always want to give your answer in simplest form. Okay, the next type of problem is graphing point slope form. So to graph point slope form, we first need to identify the point from the equation. So since the equation is x minus x1 and y minus y1, when we see plus 7, it actually means that x was negative 7. The x coordinate was negative 7 because minus a negative made it plus. So we always do opposite of what your brain thinks. So your brain sees positive 7, so the point is negative 7. And then the y coordinate says plus 5, so the y coordinate is negative 5. So we find our point first. So negative 7, negative 5. From there, we have to identify the slope of the equation, which in this problem is negative 1/4. And from the point we just found, we're going to go down 1 and over 4. So for this next one, we need to identify the point. So negative 4 means 4 is the x coordinate, and plus 1 means the y coordinate's negative 1. So I'm going to go to positive 4, negative 1. And then my slope is 4. So I'm going to go up 4 over 1. And that's going to give me my line. All right, last one for this type. So my point is going to be negative 1, positive 4. And my slope is going to be 1/2. So negative 1, positive 4, and then up 1 and over 2. And then the last type is to write the equation from 2 points. So the steps for doing that are to first find the slope, then plug the slope and a point into point slope form, and then finally get it into slope-intercept form. So for this one, let's do step 1. Step 1 is to find the slope. So I'm going to do 1 minus 6 over 2 minus 3, which is going to be negative 5 over negative 1, which is going to be positive 5. Then I'm going to pick one point and the slope to plug into my point slope formula. So we're going to plug it into y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So I'm going to use 5 as my slope, and I'm going to use the point 36. So I'm going to plug in 3 for x and 6 for y. So that gives me y minus 6 equals 5 times x minus 3. And then my last step is to just get it into slope-intercept form. So to do that, I'm going to first distribute the 5. So I get y minus 6 equals 5x minus 15. And then I need to get y by itself, so I add 6 to both sides. So 5x minus 9 is my final answer. All right, let's try this one. So first, we find the slope. So 6 minus 2, 1 minus 0 is 4 over 1, which is 4. Then I'm going to plug the slope and one of the points into point slope form. So it's going to be y minus 2 equals 4 times x minus 0. I'm using 0, 2 as my point. Then I'm going to get it into slope-intercept form. So I start by distributing the 4, and I get 4x, and then minus 0 times 4 is just 0. And then I'm going to add 2, so I get y equals 4x plus 2. All right, last one. So for slope, I'm going to do 7 minus 9 over 5 minus 6, which is negative 2 over negative 1, which is 2. And then I'm going to plug in one of the points, and I'm going to use 6 and 9. So y minus 9 equals 2 times x minus 6. Then I'm going to solve by distributing first and adding 9 last. So 2x minus 3 is my equation.